Bottas is going to pick up pole position for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. He wins the Saturday sprint. Mercedes pick up 3 points. Verstappen, the championship leader, extends his championship lead by picking up 2 points for second place. As Sainz finishes third, Perez fourth, and that is a mega sprint drive from Lewis Hamilton to come home in 5th place.
Yes, madness in Brazil, folks. In the paddock F1, green the cheese. No David Cross call on Sky Sports, courtesy of Formula1.com. Where are we this week? For the second in the triple header. We are in Sao Paulo, Brazil. What does that mean in Portuguese, Michael? That means St. Paul. How about that, sir? Sao Paulo, known for its museums, art galleries, architecture. Did you know, Michael, it is the 4th largest city proper in the world with over 30 million people in the metro area. That's a lot of gosh darn people. It is the largest Portuguese-speaking city on the planet. But this isn't a travel show or history rubbish. No. This is an F1 broadcast. And we are at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, better known as Interlagos. And man, has this weekend gone bananas since the start. The truck showed up late from Mexico. F1 waived the curfew to let him work on the cars all night long to get him ready. Lewis gets disqualified for having a DRS that's illegal. Max gets fined 50,000 euros. Valtteri wins the sprint. We're caffeinated. We're medicated. Greeny, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Cheese. Wow. Yeah, we are in Brazil. The trucks were late, and we were a little late ourselves, just like those trucks are. Greeny and the Cheese in the paddock F1 Saturday night. It is post-sprint race qualifying. Sorry, folks, we're looking for a qualifying show. I know I got some emails about that. No, we didn't do a qualifying show. We did a sprint race show because the qualifying show kind of goes out the window because it's kind of redundant, So here we are Saturday night for our...
Well, this is kind of a qualifying show since the sprint race sets the field.
Well, it sets the field we still have the qualifying, which
with the stupid, crappy rubbish.
Which it should really be one round of qualifying. You race all 20 cars out there. Whatever time you get, that's where you start. That's where you start the sprint race. I think that makes much more sense unless it's for data purposes, but you're really just burning tires, and then you race 24 laps. Which is semi-ridiculous. I'm not a huge fan of again. They were 17 last time. Again, it's the total number of miles. It's like a 2.5 mile track. So they're going out there and racing 75 miles on top of quality.
I think we've pissed and blown enough hot air about how we dislike the sprint weekend setup.
It just doesn't make sense. No. This just doesn't make sense, but it is what it is. We got what we got. Here we are.
But we did get excitement out of the deal.
Yeah, so we did have a couple bizarre things going down. We have Lewis Hamilton with a 5 penalty, a grid penalty. We'll talk about that in a moment. We also had people touching people's cars. How do you feel about people touching people's cars? How do you feel if you came out of work and somebody's old dirty mitts touching your sweet clean ride?
Oh, there's gonna be hell to pay if somebody's got my stinky grubby fit hands on my GTI. I'll tell you that right now. Get your dirty hands to yourself. It's in the rule book. Don't be touching people's cars. I mean, people look at other, teams' cars and stuff, but that's part of the game and all. I mean, you had Mick Schumacher earlier asking Seb to look into his car. A few weeks back here, but it is in the rule book. You're not supposed to touch the other guy's car. That's part of the rules. So F1 gave Max a €50,000 fine, which he laughed about. The bigger issue is the Lewis issue with the DRS gap that was larger than it's supposed to be over the 85 millimeters. So I think that's the bigger issue.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
What's going on there, Mercedes?
And for the novice fan, can you break down this 85 millimeters?
Well, it's the gap in the rear wing or the drag reduction system when they, depending on the track, there's a certain number of zones that the FIA will set up to try and increase passing. So the drivers, when they have or within a second of the driver in front of them in this zone, they can open up a gap in the rear wing, which gives them usually in the range of 10 to 15 miles an hour extra speed down the straight when the DRS is activated, so as to promote some passing. But the Merc had a little bit too big of a gap there. I mean, Merc came up with some, BS excuse to say, when Max touched it, it altered it. But I mean, you bring out the ruler, you bring out the ruler. You bring it out beforehand when they checked the car and it was fine. But then after qualifying, it's not fine. So you must have been fiddling with some bits there in between. And you got caught. So you get disqualified. It's in the rules. Take your penalty and shut your mouth.
Fiddling with your bits. Not good. We got touching, we got fiddling. We got all kinds of stuff going on in Brazil. All kinds of stuff. And listen. You're right over there. Listen. It's a five grid penalty. Lord knows.
First mode, for the engine change yet again for another Merc.
So he ends up starting in 10th. Lewis,
it was a pretty darn big drive today. picking up 15 spots.
That was huge.
Right at the back.
That was huge, and that last pass by Lando, on Lando to put Lando in 6th.
Oh, that was impressive.
Lando was you thought he was going to take 5th. Really, really thought he was going to take 5th, starting 5th, and first, best spot starting position in a while, and boop, there comes Lewis from behind, all the way from the back. And the grid is set, even though, Lando does finish 5th anyway, regardless. But Lewis starts 10th.
Oh, yeah. He starts 10th.
Lewis starts 10th.
Yeah,
and did not need a full race to do it. It's going to be exciting tomorrow in Brazil. We have a lot on the line. More points given out today. Max Verstappen. More points again. How's this looking? And how does this change with 4 races to go? How fair is it right now to have a sprint race with so many points on the line here and then racing again tomorrow, especially when everything's so tight between Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, and Red Bull? Let's talk about that.
It's garbage. The sprint race is garbage. We've blown enough hot air about it, and the FIA made the decision. The teams agreed to it. That's it. I mean, there's not much more to discuss. It's trash. The whole setup's garbage. I hate it. I can't stand it. But I think they're making some changes or something for next year, but I think it's trash.
Utter trash. You heard it here.
Utter trash. You think it's trash too?
I don't understand what the benefit is, right? I think the initial comparison I said is that we can make the races more interesting by, running a lap backwards, right? and people will be like, "Oh wow, you're running a lap backwards. That's more interesting." But like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? Like, you're trying to get more eyeballs to the screen. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and I think running extra races Friday is. When is that a good time anywhere in the world? A Friday to have qualifying anyway from the rating standpoint. So you're adding an extra layer to it. And I understand, you're adding an extra event to the weekend, bottom line, more ratings or more viewership or another show to put on, not just 2 shows in the weekend, but 3 shows in the weekend. I see this expanding and continuing to expand until this is going to be the norm. If they can get fans out for all 3 days and eyeballs watching the screens for all 3 days, they are increasing their revenue potential for 20 to 30%. They're adding an extra show, an extra ticket.
Yeah.
It's another race. It's another race. And
it's a money grab.
I don't see any other rationale or reason behind it. I know the lower divisions do it, but it's very different in the lower divisions.
Well, it's because all the cars are the same.
Yeah, and you see the separation. You see as Haas and Williams move to the back of the pack much more quickly. At least in qualifying, they do have a shot at potentially. Top 10, top 15 most weeks, at least top 15 most weeks. So you lose that. Alpha as well, usually is somewhere in the mix. Alfa Romeo pretty much every week through qualifying. But in the sprint race, you get pushed back and everyone kind of separates once again, where, the rich are in the front of the pack, the lesser in the back of the pack. And it really solves nothing. When you talk about parity, it really creates more or less of parity. Now, instead of Lewis starting from the back, which would make a very, very, very exciting race, he's starting still 10th, but would have been much more intriguing him starting in the back and much more just desserts for his penalties to start in the back instead of now starting 10th. It's almost a gift. It's almost a gift under the circumstances to start 10th. So, wild weekend. Really wild. Thoughts, concerns, comments, suggestions.
Suggestions.
Put it in the suggestion box.
Carlos looked pretty darn good today.
Yeah.
That was a hot start.
Yes, we did.
Hot start on those reds and holding it together to hold off Sergio to take third and get the podium in the sprint race. That was pretty darn impressive. I'm not going to lie. And then you get a free tire choice tomorrow. So that's pretty freaking interesting. Yeah,
we talked about last week if Carlos Sainz is going to be able to leg it out and finish in front of Charles Leclerc. We talked about it, and it's creeping up. It's creeping up. He has a shot to, I think it was 8 points. So he's got a shot to overtake him this week. Charles Leclerc, that is. But Leclerc, the pony's looking good. McLaren not looking terrible, although Danny way back in 11th. Ferrari's has the possibility to take a big step in the right direction and make that separation. How you feeling about Ferrari's chances this morning, and how you feel about Danny all the way back there in 11th?
I had a rough week. Rough time. He had a rough time today, Danny. Just not his weekend. Lando kind of looks like he's gathering back a little form again. So maybe he's getting a little better handle on the car. Ferraris are looking good. Charles didn't look so good today. Looked like he was struggling a little bit. Once Lando passed him, he just couldn't keep up. So a little worrisome for that. But Carlos looks strong. Carlos has just continued his form for about the last 9-10 races here now. Looked very strong. So that's definitely massively encouraging. Pierre had a little stumble there today. Qualified for the sprint race 4th, falls back to 8th in the sprint. Kimi looked like a rookie there, trying to turn down on his teammate. hitting into him and spinning out, and he comes in back in 18th. Kimi has never started a race at Brazil, I don't think, outside the top 10 before. So this final season, kind of fumbling a bit there down the stretch here, Kimi. Looking like he's running out of gas a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, Kimi comes through on race day. Like I said at the beginning of the season, how strong is Kimi going to finish? And the guy's 41 years old. It's tough. You know? He's our age. It ain't easy getting in that car every day.
No, that stuff ain't easy, man.
It ain't easy. So
it ain't easy getting in a Formula One car. That's for gosh darn sir.
Anyway, we have a lot more to come because the Quizmasters Cockpit is coming around the track, and I'm hopping in. And you, sir, are the Quizmaster. And
yes, sir.
I'm a little worried.
That's correct, sir.
I'm a little worried because of a miserable performance last week. So see if I can come back from a miserable 1-for-4 performance. That's an F. So hopefully we can get a C- this week. Greeny the Cheese in the Paddock F1. We're back after this. What's up, everyone? Greeny from In the Paddock here. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Please let me explain. It's free. Okay, free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you for free, so it can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many, many more. You can make money as well. Money with your podcast. No minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started. Yes. We are back. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Hit us up on email. We need to get our mailbag full, so hit us up on email inthepaddockusa@gmail.com. Inthepaddockusa@gmail.com. Rock and roll, dude. We're gonna take a lap. I am strapped in. I'm a little worried, but I'm pumped up to take a lap in the Quizmasters Cockpit. So,
are you?
Am I excited? No, I'm nervous.
Which one is it? Are you nervous or excited? Or a little both?
I think it's the same. Oh, just warming that one up.
Getting that bad boy warmed up, huh? If you don't get any of these tonight, I'll be thoroughly disappointed.
Well, get in line.
Take a number?
Take a number.
Take a number.
It's like in my office, I have that deli. Someone got a deli counter number. Take a number. I do, actually.
That's fantastic.
Just take a number. We'll get to you.
All right. I got 3 questions for you this week. Personally, I think a couple are cupcakes.
Cupcakes.
If you paid attention to anything, so if you watched the sprint race today, as I know you did, both of the questions came up during the broadcast.
But I was only half-ass paying attention as usual.
If not all 3 of them were said during the broadcast. So, I mean...
Oh, I'm going 0 for 3, but go ahead.
Question 1. How many Brazilian GPs have been held including this year.
How many Brazilian GPs?
How many Brazilian GPs have been held, including this year?
Well, I know the first one was 72, I believe. So if they had it every year since 72, is that total 48? 49. Is it 49?
49, yes! Yes!
49. Sorry, I was working on the math. I knew the first year was 72, and I knew they've had it pretty much every year since. 49.
That is correct, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me dig my way out of that one.
Sector 1 is purple.
Wow. All right.
All right.
First time.
Question.
The first time for everything.
Question 2. The last race at Interlagos was held in 2019, Michael. Who was on the top step of the podium?
I'm drawing a blank now. I mean, obviously, I want to say Lewis Hamilton because he was, but that's not the right answer. It's not the right answer. Was it Valtteri Bottas?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Sorry, delayed reaction. But yeah.
Max Verstappen.
I knew it wasn't Lewis. I knew it wasn't Lewis that won in 2019 in Brazil. So,
Mad Max. All right, well, that's a red sector
that was
too.
too easy. All right. Didn't crash out.
I told you, you got one. I thought you'd have the first two.
All right.
And have it purple going into sector 3.
All right. Didn't do it this time.
What you do?
Didn't do it this time.
All right. Question 3. 2 drivers are tied with the most overtakes this season with 104 each. Who are the 2 drivers?
Is one
we need like Jeopardy music in the background.
Is one Sebastian Vettel?
That is correct. 50% you have correct. It flashed up right in the broadcast for
It did. I know Lance Stroll is 3rd. Is the other one Fernando Alonso?
That is correct, sir.
Oh! Deep in the tank.
That is correct, sir.
Deep in the tank.
You should have had 3 for 3. You should have had a purple lap. You should have been on pole. But no.
I should have known that. That was a terrible job. That is
2 out of 3. That is your best performance yet since we've been doing the Quizmasters Cockpit.
That's a passing grade, I think.
That is your best performance. That is a passing grade. That is your best performance so far.
All right.
As I said, I would have been disappointed if you were not. But that'll lead us into our next part of our second segment for our Saturday night special program. And if I was Michael, I would be in contact with Paul Atreides, getting some spice melange, because you need to get the eyes of Abad. You need those blue eyes. You need to get on that spice rage, so you can see the future. Because you are having an awful time here with Greeny Bucks, as I have yet again, after last week going 3 for 3 for the second time of the season, hit 5 out of 6 over the last 2 races. Crushing it. Still Lord of Greentopia, living in that palace. That's me. it's time for Greenie Bucks. Michael, take it away.
Yeah, this is, as always, it's a tough one. I really wanted to do something different, but Max Verstappen's numbers are right there. I would really just can't see Valtteri Bottas taking another one home here. So I'm gonna go with the win first, and I'm gonna go Max.
Well, how about we hit the number totals for where we stand first?
Oh, I was trying to gloss over that.
I noticed that you skipped over that, sir.
I was trying to skip over a lot of things here.
So let's back the truck up. Beep 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 beep.
All right,
and let's hear the numbers.
So in second place, with a total of 450 Greenie Bucks, a modest 450 is myself, and in first with 1,670 Greenie Bucks is you. About 3.5 times higher than me. Things went off the tracks earlier in the season, and we just couldn't recover. So I was thinking about going long shot this week. I'm trying to figure out how to divide up my money because we're going for broke. We've got 4 races to go. So yeah, let's do this. This is a tough field today. This is a tough field. But Max has the lowest win, odds, lowest payout for the win. But it's hard not to go with Max. So once again, I'm going to go with Max. I'm going to have to start pumping it up here. So we're going to go with 50. 50 for Max. We're going for absolute broke. We're going for 0. We're going to 0. Or we're going to 2,000. We'll see. So that's Max. Thoughts?
2,000? What are you medicating on over there? Holy jamolies! You have no chance to get
3 for 3. Listen.
You ain't going 3 for 3. Let's be real. I also will take Max for the win, and I will take my standard 20. Because when you have a system and you're dominating, you stick to it. So give me 20 Greenie Bucks, Max Verstappen for the win, because I can't pick against Max either. Somehow he's starting next. He's starting on the other side of Valtteri today. I mean, Valtteri got a serious jump there on the inside, going in the 1 there today. So I can see Max doing that tomorrow, popping off to the lead, and away we go. I mean, the Merc might have a little bit more straight line speed, but that Red Bull's still pretty bloody quick through the corners. So I'm going to take Max for the win, 20 Greenie Bucks. Where we go next, sir?
Let's go with the biggest gainer of the day. You got it?
All right, I'll take it. I'll take it first. I'm going to give me 20 Greenie Bucks. And I'm going to take Lewis Hamilton.
Wow. All right.
And you'll see why I made that choice once we get to our trifecta, sir.
All right. You probably got him second like I do. But, yeah, I'm not going to go Lewis. I think he'll gain 9. I know you're hating on Kimi, but it's 4 races to go. He's raced in Brazil more times than anyone else on that grid. I'm going to go with Kimi. And I'm going to go with 35 Greenie Bucks. Kimi. I think he can get points. I think Lewis has the possibility of crashing out, too.
I don't see that happening. Unless somebody wrecks him. But I don't see him making that kind of mistake. Throwing away. Because if he doesn't, he has to finish top 2. He has to win it or finish second for his title hopes to be alive. If he DNFs, it's over. It's over. It's over. Max Verstappen would have to not finish the next 2 races.
Yeah, I think
for him to have a chance.
I think
so.
Lewis
If he has to get on the podium minimum. if not finish second.
I mean,
So
Lewis
that's why
have some
I'm
trouble.
picking Max to be the biggest mover because I'm saying he's going to little spin under the trifecta here.
Lewis, you mean? Go ahead.
Lewis, yeah. So he's going to finish second with my trifecta, which means he's going to have an 8th-place game starting in 8th. Now, Kimi to get into points is 10th. He's starting what, 18th?
18.
So that's still 8. So that's Lewis. That's the same amount as Lewis,
Yeah.
too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm taking that. I didn't see anybody else that could, surpass that number.
No.
And my trifecta, I'll take 20 greeny bucks. Max for the win, Lewis second, and I'll take Valtteri third.
It's Hamilton, Bottas.
Because I can actually see it tomorrow coming down late. Max is in the lead. It's sewn up. Valtteri's in second, and it comes across the radio. Hey, Valtteri, pull aside, slow down, let Lewis catch up and take over second for the points. I so see it happening tomorrow. I can totally see that happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that happening as well. I can also see Lewis making a hard play, which we've seen this before. We've seen this with Lewis this season. We've seen it with Max this season, where they overplay their hand and they crash out or they get crashed into. They're not used to driving in the middle of the pack. And they're going to be Lewis is going to be starting in the middle of the pack. I would not be surprised if Lewis gets knocked out on the first lap, possibly by turn 3. I would not be surprised. Therefore, my only play is a Lewis not podium. Because the only way to
not making it out of the center curve, he says.
And I'm gonna top that off again. I'm gonna go even further to say that this is Mercedes' weekend of doom. They're not gonna have either car on the podium, and I'm gonna go Max in first, Sergio in second, double Red Bull, finishing off Mercedes. And a Ferrari on pole, Carlos Sainz coming in third. And that is my trifecta. That's like a 40-1 trifecta. So that's what I need. But that, like I said, this is going to be these are the fun trifectas now where we can have to envision a scenario that's going to be favorable. So, yeah, Max, Checo, Sainz.
The wild card.
25. Put it in the books. And that's Greeny Bucks for the week.
Wow, aren't you stepping out on the limb going for gusto?
I don't know how much of a limb I'm stepping out on.
Saying Lewis ain't going to get out the center curve on the first lap.
I said there's a possibility, and I need to bet on possibilities. I can't just go with, you went with the top 3 in Vegas. I mean, listen, you're going to get like 10-1, 12-1 payout.
Well, who also hit 5 of the last 6 bets he placed?
I understand. Who can make, I don't know.
You got to go for the madness and the spice melange and try and see the future.
I do.
That's what you're on right now. You need the eyes of Abad.
Yes. Unfortunately, my dreams have nothing to do with F1 winners and losers. Unfortunately. Maybe we'll get some visions tonight. Maybe we'll get some solid bets on the board in real life. But in Greeny Bucks world, we are struggling. I got to find the local food bank here.
I thought we were playing taps this week, to be honest, for Veterans Day. And you just waving the white flag.
No.
Since Veterans Day the other day, I thought we were going to come on the show and play taps tonight.
You're like I'm like 3 laps back with 5 to go, but there's always the chance that your car, all 4 tires will burst, and you have to push your car to the finish line. And even then, it's a possibility you might be able to push your car over the finish line quicker than I can drive those last couple laps. But it ain't over. Till's over, my friend. But it's over for us this evening. We'll be back in only 24 hours with Brazil, my friend. The Grand Prix. Sao Paulo, Brazil. Only 24 hours away. A full race. Not a quarter race. Not a third of a race.
A third.
Third of a race. Full race tomorrow. Strap yourselves in. Greenie the Cheese. Once again, in the paddock USA at gmail.com. Hit us up. We'll be back tomorrow. Greenie the Cheese. In the paddock F1. Have a good night. Peace.
Stay medicated, my friends.
Stay medicated. Speak to you later. Peace.
Peace.